Mike Elko will begin his second season as head coach at Texas A&M University. In addition to beating 2 top 10 opponents at Kyle Field last season and playing in the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, Mike's team last year posted the best cumulative grade point average for an A&M team since records started being kept. Also, his team had 100% participation in what's called the Big Event, which is a student-run community service project on the A&M campus. Mike's a native of South Brunswick, New Jersey. Mike graduated from Penn with a bachelor's degree in history. He was a safety who helped lead the Quakers to the 1998 Ivy League championship. Mike is married, just shared with me, spent part of his summer moving. So as much as we idolize football coaches, they have to do the packing tape and putting things in cardboard boxes as well. By the way, so do commissioners. He's married to his wife, Michelle, and they're parents of 3 children, Mike, Michael, Andrew, and Caitlin. Welcome, Texas A&M University head football coach Mike Elko.
For all of you who had the eyes of Texas as the song I was walking out to, you lost your bet. Excited to be back out here for SEC Media Days Year 2. Just really excited to go into Year 2 of our program. I want to start with something Commissioner Sankey said about my summer and maybe give a lot of kudos to my wife. When I took the job at Texas A&M, my wife stayed back with our younger son who was still finishing high school and my daughter. And so after recruiting in June, we went back and moved and packed the house, and I heard all the coaches before me come up and talk about the great summers they had, and mine got to spend the summer packing. And so to my wife, another apology and just an understanding that I owe her a huge vacation next summer, and we'll certainly get around to that. She's the rock of our family. I want to acknowledge the recent tragedy that affected the hill country of Texas, the devastation from the floods and the damage and loss of life was heartbreaking. The thoughts and prayers of the entire Texas A&M football community are with everybody impacted by that region, both Texans and Aggies alike. And so just truly devastating and heartbreaking to watch and see all of that. I want to recognize Commissioner Sankey for his continued leadership through what is a very challenging time in college athletics. I talked about this last year, how important leadership was in this day and age, and I think even 12 months later, it's probably more important. And to Greg and his staff, I think they not only do a great job of leading this conference, but I think providing the coaches with the information and the insight that they need to lead our programs and continue to have the SEC at the forefront of college athletics, I think is a kudos to him and everybody that works in the SEC office in and around football and really all of our sports. I want to say thank you to Trev Alberts. I think I see him out in attendance somewhere. Really appreciate our partnership. I appreciate all the support that he's given me as we work together to try to drive this Texas A&M football program ultimately to fulfill its potential and become what we all believe it's capable of becoming. And finally, I want to recognize our recently retired SID, Alan Cannon. Alan Cannon is a true legend in this industry. A lot of you know him very well. He dedicated 44 years of his life to Texas A&M University. He was inducted into the College Sports Communications Hall of Fame back in 2014 and served another 11 years beyond that, kind of ushering Texas A&M into the SEC. And so his mentorship, his friendship will be missed, but I'm really excited for him to continue to be around the program in a limited capacity as he kind of enjoys the next stage of his life. He certainly has earned it. As we turn our attention to our football program, I kind of want to start with the 3 players that we brought here today, starting with linebacker Torian York. Torian is a 2-time captain for us. He started every single game at middle linebacker since he arrived on campus in College Station. He truly embodies what a linebacker is. The leadership, his playmaking ability, his ability to read and diagnose, his ability to communicate. He really is an exceptional linebacker in every aspect of the game. He's a tremendous leader. He sets a great example for our young players. He goes to be above and beyond with his ability to lead our program, and so we're really excited for him. He's going to be one of those kids that will go down as one of the great leaders in the history of Texas A&M football. He's a sports management major. He's originally from Temple, Texas, right down the road, and it's been really great reconnecting with him back as the head coach. Armaje Reed-Adams is with us. Armaje joined us last year as a transfer. He's a returning starter on the offensive line, one of our more decorated offseason linemen. Armaje's got an unbelievable personality. You know, when you transfer into a new program, sometimes it's hard to feel and find your way, but he really let his voice stand out last year. I think he brings a lot of energy to that group, a lot of energy to what we're trying to do on the offensive line. I think that's one of the reasons why he was voted a captain for the 2025 season, and he runs a local podcast partnering with Aggies, and is really involved in a lot of things inside of our community. Armaje is actually finishing up his last class right now, and so he'll graduate here in a couple weeks with a business degree from the Mays School of Business, and then he'll start grad classes this fall as he finishes his career with us. And then Will Lee, our starting corner. I think Will was one of the biggest recruiting battles that we had last year. First, getting him to decide to come back and finish his development with us, and then obviously getting him to do that at Texas A&M. He's our best cover guy. I think what he does for us, locking down one side of the field, really gives us an advantage on defense. Getting him back and seeing him grow really this offseason to kind of develop into an even better version of who he was last year. Will's graduating this fall with a degree in leadership, and he's going to provide a lot of leadership to our program and to our defense this year. As we turn our attention to the 2025 Texas A&M football season, I just want to start with the program that we're building. I think when I got hired, we talked an awful lot about building a program that would help our young people develop into the best version of who they are, both on and off the field. I think people sometimes get so lost in the X's and O's and the play calling that they lose sight of what that culture can really do to impact and affect our program. And I think as we continued into this offseason, the challenge for us has been to elevate that culture to a championship level culture, and so that we are acting in our lives every step along the way as champions. And I think I said this to a lot of people when I got hired. I've said this to a lot of people this offseason. It's going to be our commitment to doing that every day that is ultimately going to get Texas A&M football where it wants to be. We are trying to speed that process up as much as we possibly can, but we've laid a really strong foundation for who we are as a program, who we want to be, and where we want this thing to be going forward. And I think that was so critical. In the past 12 months, we've made a tremendous amount of stride in that area. You heard Commissioner Sankey mentioned we had a 3.07 GPA last year. It's the first time since we've joined the SEC that we had a 3.0 GPA. I strongly believe that correlates to success in life and success on the football field. We established our Mission 12 program, which is our player development program, to help continue to grow and educate these young people in what is a changing time. Financial literacy, understanding NIL agents and what all of that is about, reading contracts, understanding this new evolution of third-party NIL, a program that will truly provide for our student athletes all of the resources that they need to go out and be successful. We talk a lot as coaches about how hard it is for us to navigate this landscape. It's also challenging for our 19-year-olds to navigate this landscape, and we want to make sure that they're provided with all of the resources they need to be successful. Off the field or on the field, we're really excited to get into year two. I don't think you can quantify how challenging year one truly is when you have to go into a place and build everything. Build culture, build a program, build scheme, build practice habits, build practice tempo, design, everything. There's so much that's on the table in year one, and I think both I and our staff are just really excited about the growth that will happen between year one and year two in our program. On offense, we returned 7 starters, and I think that is a big cry for excitement. I think we bring back our top 7 offensive linemen. We bring back all of our ball carriers. That's a really strong starting point. But I think what I'm most excited about is the fact that we've got quarterback Marcel Reed primed to take a huge jump for us this year. I think he's had a phenomenal offseason. I think he's put on some necessary strength and mass to kind of hold to the rigors of SEC football. I think he understands now what it takes to be an SEC quarterback week in and week out, and really excited for him to go out and become the difference maker that we know he's capable of being this year. We added and developed some weapons at the wide receiver and tight end position to help him, and I think we're primed to develop on what was a really strong offensive year for us last year. In SEC play, we led the SEC in points per game. I think as we move into year 2 of Colin Klein's system, that unit is even going to take a bigger jump. Defensively, we return 8 starters, including our entire back 7. The value of that is hard to put into words. Those kids last year were put into a really challenging situation, having to bring in so many new starters from so many different programs who had never really played together, never had played in our system. I think at times we got it right, at times we didn't. But those kids coming back, I think, have a chip on their shoulder to bring Texas A&M defense back to where it belongs. We've got a very proud tradition of Texas A&M going all the way back to the wrecking crew of what defense should look like, and we look forward to seeing that manifest itself this year on the field in Kyle Field. We also brought back all 4 of our specialists. I think that's unique. Both our kicker, punter, long snapper, and kickoff specialist all return. And so we feel as though we've got a very veteran group with a lot of experience primed to go out this year and finish what we started last year. I want to close by saying this. Texas A&M is an amazing place. I'm blessed and honored to be the head football coach at Texas A&M. The support we have for our program at times is overwhelming. Last year, we averaged just under 103,000 people at our home games. That's 101% attendance in Kyle Field for an average. Our average home attendance was larger than any stadium capacity in the SEC. The support that we get from our university is second to none. Our university continues to grow. We have clearly established ourselves as one of the premier state universities in the country through the leadership of President Mark Welsh. Our program continues to grow in every aspect of its academic excellence. Our alumni network, which has always been a strength of our university, continues to pour in and show that Aggies will always take care of Aggies. It's an exciting time to be the leader of this program. It's an exciting time to be at this university. I think all arrows are trending in a very, very positive direction for where this program is headed. And so we look forward to this year. We look forward to this season. And thank you for all you do covering SEC football and Texas A&M and Gig 'em.
Thank you, Coach Elko. If you have a question, Molly Ann, Holly, and Olivia have microphones. Coach, we're going to go over to our right-hand side on the aisle.
David Nuno, Texags. Mike, what lessons did your team learn last season, being so close to the SEC championship game but not finishing?
Yeah, I think you have to go through some of that sometimes. And as painful it is, and as painful it was for us and our fans and everyone involved, we had never been in that position before. We had never been the hunted team. We had never been in November competing for an opportunity to get into Atlanta with our destiny in our own hands. And I think you learn how you have to elevate your game in those matchups when you become that team. And going on the road in back-to-back weeks, and we didn't play the football that we needed to play to finish it. And it's been our mantra the entire offseason. Mantras don't turn into wins, but I do believe our kids have a really strong chip on our shoulder to change that story and finish this thing the right way.
Coach, we'll go straight in front of me here in the front row.
Yeah.
Tony Catalina, Austin American Statesman. Coach, you had brought up Marcel Reed in your opening statements. We had talked to some of the players, and they talked about his leadership development. From a player standpoint, that's one thing, but as a coach, what have you seen from him that has given you encouragement this offseason, and that specifically?
Yeah, I think Marcel's in a unique spot, right? Because he went through it last year as a first-time starter, and he didn't go into the year as a starter, and that makes it really challenging to step into the huddle as a leader. I think this year he goes into the offseason clearly established as our starting quarterback. I think that allows him to really impact the team with his personality. He's an energetic personality. He's a guy that people want to play for and want to play with. We had some success recruiting wide receivers in the transfer portal in large part because we encouraged them to come out to bowl practice and watch Marcel. And they would come out and watch him and be like, wow, okay, yeah, I want to play with that guy. And so I think he's a leader in his own way as he now steps into being the face of our program and the quarterback of our program.
Coach, we're going to go down the center aisle all the way towards the back.
Carter Carls, 24/7 Sports. Mike, you talk about the continuity and the retention, not just with the players, but the coaching staff as well. Just how does that kind of compare throughout your coaching career, and what benefit does that have for the team at large?
Yeah, I think it's got a tremendous benefit. I think when you can keep familiarity within your program in the coaching world, terminology, the way people coach, drill work, all of that I think helps. And so I think we were able to do that last year, and that was really strong for us. We were able to add some staff in the offseason, which I think really has helped enhance what we're doing in our program as well. And then obviously in order to become the program you want to become, and we talked a lot about this, we had to stabilize it. We were able to put our entire roster together by the end of January last year. I think that's something that speaks volumes to where our program is from a culture standpoint and how much belief and confidence I think people have in where Texas A&M football is going.
We're going over here again to the right in the front row.
Hey, Coach, Travis Brown, KBTX.com. You mentioned the experience of the team. Does it feel like an experienced team, and what does that experience look like on the field and in the locker room?
Yeah, I think it happens in two different ways. I think it feels like an experienced group in that they go about their business, they know what the expectations are, they know what it takes to go out and be successful. And so the work this off season, I think, has been at a really high level because of that. There's still another step though. You know, we have to take that experience and turn it into being really good football players, being technically sound, being fundamentally sound, going out and playing the game at the level that we can. And I think experience creates knowledge, but we've got to use that knowledge, you know, through the rest of summer, through fall camp, and then really every week in the season to go out and put the football product together that it needs. You know, experience is a really good starting point, but if you don't utilize it the right way, it can be wasted.
Coach, we'll go about halfway back on the aisle. Drew.
Yes, Coach. Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. Wanted to ask about a couple of those transfer additions from my state. Mario Craver, wide receiver that spent a year at Mississippi State. What did you see to add him to the roster? And also former Alabama tight end Amari Nyblack.
Yeah, I think with Mario, it was a kid who had exceptional speed. I think we saw that firsthand when we played him. You could feel his speed on the field, and that was something that we really desperately wanted to go out and add. And I think he's done a really good job of going from a young athletic freshman to maybe a more developed SEC receiver heading into year two, and so excited for him. And then Amari Nyblack was an interesting one because he had spent time with Coach Holman Wiggins at Alabama, and so when he decided to enter the portal, there was some familiarity about more so what he had done when he was at Alabama, and so, you know, we feel like he's a hybrid kid that adds an awful lot of value in what he can do in the receiving game, and so, you know, he was a great addition for our program.
We'll go right here in the front row, right from the podium.
John Burrows, on Texas Football. Coach, when you first took the job at Texas A&M, you referred to your program as the flagship program in the state of Texas. Obviously, a lot of Texas fans took that as a slight. When you made that comment, were you considering the University of Texas, and how would you compare those two programs when it comes to that title?
Yeah, I don't think I was considering anything else. I wasn't comparing anything else. I was making a statement in regards to our role in impacting high school coaches in our state. And so I think, like a lot of things, that maybe got misinterpreted.
Okay, we'll go right here on the near aisle. Barry, third row.
Yeah, Barry Trammell, Tulsa World. Conference-wide question. SEC won 14 of 17 national titles there for a stretch, built a brand into what it is, but now 2 years in a row the Big Ten has won. How important is it to get that trophy back in the conference?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think we pride ourselves on being the premier league in college football, and I think in order to do that, you got to be the last team standing at the end. And it's a gauntlet getting through the SEC season. It's a gauntlet now getting through an expanded playoff. I think our coaches now have a real good feel for what that is and what that takes, and I think that's something we have to really be focused on moving forward.
Coach, we'll go down the center aisle again, to just over to our left.
Hey Coach, Emily Grace McWhorter from the Next Round. We often talk about player growth from year 1 to year 2, but as you enter your second season, what are some areas that you're looking to refine yourself?
Yeah, I think, when you go into year 2, you have such a better feel for the personalities of the team, how the team reacts to certain things. There's a lot of guesswork that goes into year 1. You've never really been through it with those guys. And so, you may think they're responding a certain way, but you don't really know. You may be thinking this is the right way to message things, but you don't really know. And I think when you go into year 2, you just have such a better feel for the personalities of everybody in your building, coaches, players, everybody. And so I think there's just a much better comfort from me in terms of how to lead not only the team, but the program heading into year 2.
Coach, we'll go over to our left-hand side on the third row.
Coach Cole Thompson, SEC Unfiltered. Just want to get your opinion on the running back room. You have 4 guys all returning. Can you talk about the volume, but also experience that they have and how each one provides a different element to kind of really help you set the tone depending on each matchup?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of quality in that group. I think it starts with Le'Veon Moss, who is on his way to being the leading rusher in this conference and one of the leading rushers in the country last year when he got injured, and obviously is a big, physical, powerful runner who probably has more track speed than people think he does, given the size and the way he runs the football. Then you go to Ruben Owens, who unfortunately we didn't have at all last year, and Ruben is a dynamic player. He's really good out of the backfield catching the football. Has a lot of home run potential, and I think Ruben's really excited to be able to get out there at 100% and show the college world what he's capable of. Amari Daniels has been a really talented back for us, has been our leading rusher at times over the last 2 years. 2 years ago, he was our leading rusher. Certainly is a kid who's very capable of being a #1 back in a lot of systems, and so we got to find ways to utilize him. And then I think Emmitt Smith, or EJ Smith, is going to have a huge year for us. I think he was a kid who was really beat up at times last year in the offseason and never really got the training and the preparation that he needed, and he's been really healthy this offseason, and I think that's going to kind of allow him to take his game to the next level. And so we're blessed with 4 really talented backs, and you need them because in this conference they come and go fast.
Coach, we're going to go to the section in front of me about 3/4 of the way back.
Peter Rodriguez from AL.com. Jacoby Matthews is back in the SEC now with Auburn. What do you remember about your meetings and actions with him before he left A&M, and what do you see in him as a player?
Yeah, didn't really know Jacoby more from recruiting. Was there as the defensive coordinator when we recruited him. Didn't have much interaction when I came back as the head coach and was at Duke the years he was at Texas A&M. A really good kid, really good family, and certainly wish him nothing but the best at Auburn.
Coach, we'll go back up front here over to our left, third row.
Coach, Brian Shapiro, Texas Sport Network. You guys went last year in the renewal of the Lone Star Showdown, and I know this game is a long ways away, but now you have to go down to Austin to face the Longhorns in what could be another game that sends the winner to the SEC championship. How are you guys going to prepare for that, Longhorn fandom?
Yeah, I think there's a lot between now and then. I'll just say what I've said about that game. I think it's great that that game's back. I think with the way those 2 programs are operating and executing right now, that game's going to mean something at the end of the year, and I think that's awesome for college football. I think it's awesome for the state of Texas. I think it's awesome for those 2 universities, and so it's a great game. It's a great rivalry, and we certainly look forward to the challenge.
We'll go again to the back on the left-hand side.
Coach Garrett Chapman, 92 on the game in Atlanta. Noah Thomas was your leading receiver last year, but he, of course, has made the move to Athens to go play for the Georgia Bulldogs. What is Kirby Smart and the Georgia program getting in Noah?
Yeah, Noah's a great kid. Nothing but respect for Noah. He's a playmaker. Has the ability to win contested catches and a great work ethic. And so, happy for Noah that he's found a place that he's comfortable, and certainly hope he has a great year this year.
Okay, we'll go back over here to our left-hand side on the third row.
Coach Nicolazo from KCOU. You said in March that your young playmaker, Terry Bussey, is going to focus on being a wideout only. What kind of jump in production can we expect from him just focusing on one position?
Yeah, I think Terry's primed to have a real breakout year. I think we didn't get him mid-year last year, and so he didn't show up until around Memorial Day. He was injured a little bit when he got there, and so we had to get him healthy. He then started on defense, and we switched him to offense midway through camp, and that's not really the recipe to become the best wide receiver you're capable of becoming. And so being a wide receiver this year, start to finish in the offseason, I think some refinement in his route running, the ability to truly understand what he can do and how to get him the football, I think you're going to see him take a really, really big jump this year.
Coach, we'll go back over here to the right side, third row.
Hey, Mike. Alex Miller with the Bryan College Station Eagle. I wanted to ask if you could share if there was a moment this offseason where you really saw Marcel take ownership of being the starting quarterback and really show a step forward in his leadership.
Yeah, probably started right when we got back for the spring semester. I think his wanting and desire to one, get the receivers together to start working on the timing in the passing game, and then his ability to want to get in with our offensive staff and kind of start going back through the playbook, back through the details of what we're doing schematically, starting to really lock in on the finer points of the scheme. And so I think from the second he got back from his winter break, I think he stepped into the building as the guy who's going to be the starting quarterback. And so, again, I think you're going to see a massive jump from him.
Stay over there about 2 rows back, Robert.
Yeah, Mike, Robert Sesson, the Bryan College Station Eagle. A&M's doing real well in recruiting, Mike. And of course, the last time you were there, now you come back. Texas has added to the SEC since. My question, I wonder if that altered the way A&M recruits. And since we're in Georgia, you guys seem to be doing well in Georgia, and I wonder if that was maybe a byproduct of your 2 years as head coach at Duke.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit unique. I think a couple of ties in the area maybe from when I was at Duke. I don't know that the first part of your question, I don't know that impacts anything. I think I said this last year, Texas A&M and Texas have been recruiting against each other for years, regardless of conference. I don't know that conference affiliation will ever impact that. Obviously, we take a lot of pride in our ability to go out and recruit the best players we can to Texas A&M, and that's something you obviously have to do in order to be successful.
Okay, we'll take one final question here right in front of me in the second row. Cedric.
Hey, Mike. Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. What did you learn about yourself as a head coach after that tremendous start, 7-1 last season, and then the struggles after that?
Yeah, I think you're always learning and growing and reflecting. And again, I just think it comes back to understanding what it is to be in that situation. I think you have to understand how to elevate your game at the right moment and the right time. And I think, going on the road back-to-back after that LSU win, we just didn't elevate the right way. And so I think how you prepare the team, the things that you do to get them ready to maybe get off to a faster start in those types of moments and those types of games, I think it all matters. And I think anytime you experience that, and unfortunately sometimes even more so when you experience failure, if you do it the right way, you learn and you grow and you come back a better coach and a better team, more ready to handle those types of situations in the future.
Coach Elko, thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.